The wounded masculinity. In this webinar, I'm going to be working with, the foundation, our own foundation. And I always saw healing in a way that my house was built with the topics of my ancestors and my childhood and my parents. So this webinar is about really looking at your foundation around what was your foundation around, your father, the male energy. Was the male energy protecting you? Was it open to being vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable, supporting you? So in this webinar, I'm going to be really working, what is your foundation around your masculinity? What is the foundation of the ancestors around the masculinity? So we're going to work with all the wounds of the masculine and support you to transform them, first to bring them up, face them, and then reset them. So the whole thing about this webinar series is really to support you to bring up individually all the wounds of the masculine and then go into the gifts of the masculine. So these are all very big fields, just like the wounded feminine and the gifts of the feminine were too. And now we need to balance the system. So this is for men and women. Each of the webinars are for men and women because we're working with our own feminine and masculine in our own system. And then what was our experience? What was the experience of masculinity in the system, or the toxic male in the system, the weak male in the system, the corrupted male in the system, the avoidance in the system, the emotional avoidance. So how are these different trauma bonds playing out in your relationship, in your life, in your finances? And it's amazing how it can really play out for the rest of your life if you don't address this, on how you show up in the world, how you prove yourself to the world if it's coming from a wound, and how you maybe are living your gifts for the wrong reasons. So this is working on your deep relationship with yourself. It's going to reset your value system, your ability to be present emotionally too, to show up emotionally too, and to feel safe to show up. And can you imagine if you were brought up in a home, or maybe you were, where you were fully protected and allowed to be yourself, that the space was protection and you were allowed to be your authentic self? How would that play out in your life? And this is what I want to reset in the system of this webinar series, is to bring a new information into your system, into your relationship with yourself, into your partnership, into all relationships with everybody, to step out of the blinding trust, the blinding faith, the illusions, the goggles, the I cannot feel, my heart's shut off. So to step out of all these old trauma bonds and to really navigate back into who you really are, into your foundation, and reset the foundation completely with you and your ancestors, which will bring a shift in all areas of your life. So the wounded masculine, it really is for everybody, for all of us, to address and to reset our foundation, reset our genetic information around the masculinity, and to drop into really the power of the masculine, the gifts of the masculine in a brand new way. So this is what this webinar is about. It's going to work on all the different topics around emotions, emotionally unavailable, emotionally cut off, abusive relationships, dominating relationships, toxic relationships, narcissistic relationships of the masculine, and bring it into safety, power, grounded, connected, speaking emotionally too, and being available and present. This is the new information coming into the system, some of it. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you over the weekend at the webinar. And we will dive deeper into this system and It's going to be a big field of information which will be transformed, and it will just keep coming in as the days get closer and closer. Have a beautiful day. Thank you. And we'll be starting the webinar in a more aware way when you prepare for it. So if you, a little homework would be to look back into your life, your childhood, and then see, was there an illusion there about my childhood was great, my parents were great, everything was good. How did you really feel as a child? Did you feel safe? Did you feel protected? Did you feel heard? Did you feel seen? Were your parents emotionally there for you? So all these different keys will open up as we come closer to the webinar, and then we can address it in the webinar when we're in that space. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.